Well, just little old me. I guess mostly I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm okay, doing all right. I haven't had a video in a while, so I thought I'd kind of give an update. Of course, I've had the cranial surgery, and then I had to go back and have them replace my computer head that sits right here, because apparently I don't have enough body fat. Some would say, oh, what a horrible thing to have. Ooh, I'm so sad. It really isn't funny, except it is. I didn't have enough body fat for the computer head to adhere to. And so it got to where it had drooped down up underneath my armpit here. So I had to go back in. They had to reopen the incision, and they made like a spider web thing so that a little pocket to hold it, which now gives me more little bitty holes around. So that part has always been fun. Not really. I've gone through trying some different medications. Some of it's been okay, some of it not so much. I go in, I call them oil changes. Aaron says it's more like on the rig when he was working oil. He said they have these digital outputs of that display on a computer screen of how deep and how much and blah, blah, blah. Because each one of my strips has 6 nanochips on it. And I have the 2 strips right here in the frontal lobe. So they can direct the amount of pulse that comes through it and at which direction it goes. And that affects different things that your brain activity would do. Another kind of weird little fact that goes with it, they can determine whether I can smile, raise my eyebrows, whether I can sit still without so much tremor, all with the flick of a little adjustment in these nanochips to the amount of drooling that I do. So, what's been up? Well, business has been off a little bit. I don't know, maybe people think that I'm not able to perform like I did before. And for you guys that feel that way, I'm really sorry. The truth of the matter is, I have a fabulous team that backs me up. Joseph and Tina, I could not operate without them. And that's been that way for quite some time. There are some delays in getting things done. The delays have nothing to do with my physical or mental ability. The delays have to do with vendors. You know, for everything that occurs, for every good, there's an opposite, a yin and a yang, so to speak. We had a whole bunch of furloughs at the beginning of the pandemic. With the pandemic, you can go back through my videos and see where I had, to me it was just a complete meltdown. I actually cried, sobbed boo-hoo tears over so many of my contacts that were furloughed and left the field. Hospitality is not an easy industry by any stretch of the imagination, and hospitality includes food service to hotel maids to reservation desks to, like you've just seen here in the recent news, the airline fiasco. The FAA even went so far as having glitches. These, in my opinion, are all due in part to possibly a little mismanagement of some funds, but two, when you furlough your senior people, yes, it gives you more cash flow in your pocket because they didn't know how long everything was going to last. But when you go to rehire, instead of bringing people back on and incentivizing them to be here, they've hired new people who possibly speak English. Not that speaking an additional language doesn't help, but when you're trying to advise somebody on something and the price changes in 5 seconds, and if you've ever bought a plane ticket, you can attest to how that works. Now put that up on steroids. We try only to send people with vendors that have proven track records because, you know, the logo for We Go Travel has been making dreams one trip at a time. I kind of take it personal that every time we make a trip for somebody, I don't want it to be a nightmare. I'd love for it to be a fabulous trip each and every time. Now, do we have a whole lot of control over that? No, we don't. Matter of fact, we have minimal control. What we do have control is experience. And the experience sometimes takes a little bit more effort, so it slows the process down a little bit. For example, I had a friend of mine, she called me, and it was really timing, I guess is the right word. But wants to look into going to Ireland. Just so happens to be that I'm going to be meeting with a whole bunch of the Irish vendors, making new acquaintances, getting to know some of them personally, because that's how I do business. And if you've never been to Ireland and you want to do something, isn't it kind of nice to know that you're not just Googling something and hoping for the best? Google's a great tool, but it's not where you go buy things. Not in my opinion. I think my mother has had her credit card information. She's had to cancel her card at least 10 times through the pandemic. It's just so easy for people to do those things. So, it is what it is. But my doctor, I went and saw her on, it was last week. Anyway, one day I got to go see her. I have absolutely the best medical team I think I could have. Ramamula Kutla is my general practitioner. And the reason that I stay with her is her knowledge, her personal first-hand experience of Parkinson's and everything that is dealt with in Parkinson's. And she told me something, I guess, that I really did need to hear, but it's difficult. I have spent my whole life tending to things, being in charge of this, being in charge of that. It's very, very difficult to be a recipient, to need, and to ask people for help. And I mean that in the most sincere way. She says she didn't understand why it was so difficult for me to ask for help. And I said, well, and the truth is, I've always been the giver, the provider, the instigator, the initiator, the manager. I've not ever been good as being the receiver. And it's difficult to give up some of those roles in life. And she said, so I like to bless people, but I don't allow them to return any blessings. I hadn't thought about it that way. So, I mean, wow. I feel so blessed just to get up every day. Yesterday was not the best day. As a matter of fact, where you see me sitting right now, I sat for about 90% of the day yesterday. I just flat out was lethargic, unable to get up, process much. My head was just, it pounded all day. But it is what it is, So I guess I'm going to work at being the better recipient of blessings. So, anyway, I just always, I never thought there was anything wrong with accepting help. I just, we grew up, my dad was in the military. We never really had a whole lot of money or excess, anything like that. We were not poor by any stretch of the imagination. But on the first of every month, my mother would go down. After she'd paid the bills, we would all go to the commissary, and our big splurge was Mom would buy hoagie rolls, lunch meats, cheeses, stuff like that, and we would make sandwiches. And I guess that really sounds kind of odd, but we were rich in the fact that we had each other. So, I'm not sure how we get off into the cycle of money, 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 and you need more money and money, money, money. Be happy with the things you have. Be happy with the people in your life. For that, I do know how truly blessed I am. My mansion of gold sits high. I'm not ready to go see it yet, but I do know it's there and waiting for me. I used to tell one of my aunts that her and my mother, I swear to God, I swear to you, I thought it was a competition between these ladies. How many stents could they get? Mom leapt ahead at 11. Then Aunt Jody, she popped up and she had 12. And I thought, now come on, guys. Y'all gotta stop this. And I remember telling my aunt one time, I said, do you know why you're not going to go to heaven yet? And she was like, that's not very nice to say. I said, no, because you're not finished here. Whatever it is, the task that you were born to do, you've not finished it here. It's not your turn. You have to sit and wait for it. So we all need to quit worrying about everything so much and just take each day. let the blessings and let it all come straight through you, because until we learn that, we're never going to get to go. It's not our turn, and it's not our time. I hope you have a good day. I am. By the way, for those of you that are wondering what the gnawing is, I took this girl around and let her pick, and she picked a buffalo horn. That's Gretel. Yep.